Today's gospel tells us of when Jesus met a deaf man. And when I was reading this today, what really stood out to me and impressed me was that Jesus had no qualms about communicating with the deaf man. He didn't just stand back and speak because, for sure, the deaf man would not have understood. Jesus put his fingers in the deaf man's ears, and the deaf man understood that his ears were broken. And Jesus touched the man's tongue, and the man said to Jesus, "I can't speak." And then he was able to speak. And Jesus did that because he loved him. He looked up to the heavens and knew that this man had been pushed to the side, oppressed, and marginalized by hearing people. And he didn't want that to happen. So he said, "Epaphatha," which means to open. And that story of Jesus communicating with this deaf man and doing what he did made me think about times when I was growing up and things that I saw where so many hearing people were not comfortable talking to me because I was deaf and couldn't communicate with me very clearly. But I do remember a few hearing people who were not afraid to communicate with me and would try and mouth things, write things down, and that made me feel really good that they saw me as being an important person. And there are many hearing people and deaf people alike who are cold and do not communicate and are very reserved. And then there are people, hearing and deaf, that are very communicative and have no problem communicating with people. So why is it that there are some people who are not comfortable communicating while we have others who are so comfortable and can get along in any situation? Why does that difference exist? Well, what I believe is that it probably means that those people who aren't good at communicating with others don't really love themselves, haven't really accepted themselves, and maybe even wish they were somebody else. And when we're not comfortable with ourselves and we don't love ourselves, then it's very difficult for us to love and be comfortable and communicate with others. We just can't get comfortable to be able to do that. Now, if we look at people who are good communicators and very outgoing, it's because they're confident, and it means that they have a strong sense of self-love, positive self-esteem, and they're able to mingle with just about anybody in just about any situation. So, Jesus, he was amazing at talking to anybody, whether it be the Jews, the Romans, the non-Jews, the sinners, or even people that were disabled, and the deaf man. He could get along with anybody. And that's because Jesus himself was God. And God himself is love. And Jesus was filled with God's love for other people. So I think it's so important for each and every one of us that we want to love other people regardless of their differences. And we need to be comfortable around everyone. And in order to do that, we have to start by loving ourselves first, even though we're not perfect, but to realize that we have worth and that we love God and God loves us. And that will make loving other people so much easier. Thank you, and God bless you.